Hello and welcome to a very special Analog Toys live stream. Well, a very special. I'm glad there's no cats in here, mate. You just scared them away. I'm joined today by a lovely pair of gentlemen that I believe I named the Crazy Dutchies. Was that me? Yeah, I don't remember doing that, but that's not a surprise. But no, I'm joined today by two really good friends of mine. We've got, first of all, in the top right corner is Jody from the Gen X Toys Geek YouTube channel. Jody, how you doing today?
Analog Toys, FAB.
Excellent, excellent. And here at the bottom center, we have Chris Miwa from the excellent Chasing 80s Toys YouTube channel. How are you, Chris?
Well, hello there. Doing fine. Thank you for having us Crazy Dutchies on your show, Tony.
It's been a long time coming, my friend. It's I don't know why I haven't done it sooner, but that seems to be the case with a lot of things. Actually, this weekend I'm doing a panel talk with Matt Swafford, and that's something that we've been talking about since long before Iconicon, and I'm only finally getting around to it now. So first of all, we have a super chat here from one of the co-hosts of today's show. So Jody's sending super chats to his live stream. This is going to be fun. Thanks for inviting me and Chris, aka the Crazy Dutchies. It's absolutely my pleasure to have you guys on here today. And I think there was also, there we go. Scuba Pete, thank you very much. He says, an Englishman, two Crazy Dutchies, and Jerry Anderson walk into a pub. Just wanted to show my support before I have to jump into the aquarium tonight. I wonder if someone in the chat can come up with a decent punchline to the start of that joke Scuba's done there. So, well, look, before we really get into Thunderbirds, first of all, I want to give both of you guys the opportunity to talk a little bit about your channels. The links to both of these channels are in the description of this video. So, Jody, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what Gen X Toys Geek is all about?
Yeah, so Gen X Toys Geek, it's I'm a collector of Gen X toys, so 70s, 80s, 90s toys. And I got in touch, or I got addicted to great YouTube channels like Analog Toys and Retro Blasting, and they kind of got me into making my own little videos. So yeah, you do a combination, predominantly aimed at 80s or 90s toys. Have some small videos, the fun facts, mess about with stop motion. Just having fun on YouTube, but just having fun. And I just launched a new video actually as a follow-up to the 80s panel on Iconicon, which I was invited to, about the 80s vehicles, the iconic 80s vehicles. What happened to them and where are they now?
And I'll just say that is an excellent video. I could really appreciate, having someone who's been on YouTube for over 5 years now, the amount of time and effort that would have gone into a video like that, Jody. Those big videos. There's a lot of research. It's very time consuming. There's a lot of editing. Congratulations, man. That was a job well done. Well done. So
thank you.
We'll get these super chats quickly and then we'll move on to Chris's channel. So we have James Salzberg. Thank you very much. He says, has anyone seen the animated Thunderbirds 2086? If so, did you like it? I saw it as a kid, but not since. I've never watched the animated series. What about yourself, Jody?
I had a quick look once I found out it existed. Not a big fan of that one. There's another reboot, from 2015, Thunderbirds Are Go, which is a combination of same thing like the real Thunderbirds did with practical effects and sets, but then the characters are animated rather than super marionation. That's better. The 2086, not a big fan.
Yeah. And what about you, Chris?
I'm the newbie here as far as Thunderbirds go. I took a crack course today watching the original series and some behind the screen stuffs, and rewatched your video on Tracy Island, and I like it. I like it a lot, but I didn't got to see it back in the day when I was younger.
Yep.
So,
I think that's good though, having you on, having someone who didn't grow up with it and literally took a crash course today, watching a few episodes. You'll have a different perspective. I often look at things like Thunderbirds. You've got those childhood memories, where you've got the rose-colored glasses on, and then you've got the adult kind of, the way we look at things a little bit more critically when we get older. So, and was there another super chat? Venkman, thank you very much. Three men walked into a bar, the other one ducked. So, Chris Mewa, tell us a little bit about your channel.
Yeah, I'm Chris, and I'm from the Netherlands. Henceforth, I'm one of the crazy Dutchies. I got a channel, Chasing 80s Toys, and it's about me chasing 80s toys. And I try to invite a lot of my friends I met through this awesome toy community on my channel and make videos with them, sharing the fun. And besides that, I'm a musician, and I also sometimes act as cosplay a lot. So those passions are shown on my channel as well. So it's a mix of my three favorite things to do.
You're also forgetting, Chris, that you've got some really nice series, your Toy Hunt series with your reporter in the field, Mr. Scuba Pete, as well as your collectors and their collections. And you actually did a video about my collection. So if you're wondering about my crazy Transformer collection, go to Chris's channel.
Thank you.
And you can see behind Chris there, that amazing collection. Chris may be a Masters of the Universe fan, just possibly, amongst other things.
Might have.
All right, so we're here today to talk about Thunderbirds. So I grew up watching this show. I didn't have any of the toys when I was young, but I grew up with watching a lot of Jerry Anderson TV shows. Thunderbirds in particular, because it was the most popular, and it seemed to be aired on TV in reruns a lot more often. But I was also my favorite Jerry Anderson show is Captain Scarlet. It's a little bit darker, a little bit more adult, but I probably watched more Thunderbirds. So as Chris mentioned, he didn't grow up with it. When were you first introduced to Thunderbirds, Jody?
Yeah, it must have been in the 90s when they started re-airing it on the BBC. So I must have watched it on the BBC, because I can definitely remember watching Thunderbirds on TV. I have vague memories of watching Stingray on the BBC. Can't remember Captain Scarlet. I've never had the toys myself, although my mother, she actually grew up with the original Thunderbirds on television. So the first Thunderbird toys I actually got was for her. When they re-aired it, I actually got a couple of the 92 toys for her. It was only many, many years later that I actually started collecting them myself. Yeah,
nice. So the reason we chose this topic today is because I've recently put out a video about this this amazing Tracy Island playset and the vehicles. And that video, I have no idea why, after 5 years on YouTube, within 3 weeks, this video has become the second most viewed video on my channel. And it's only about 4,000 views away from becoming the most viewed video on the channel. I believe that's what's going to happen within the next week. It's going to become the most popular video on the channel. I'd love to know why. Perhaps people just dig Thunderbirds. I don't know. But this video would not have been possible without the kind generosity of these two gentlemen on screen here. So Jody sent me the Tracy Island playset, and Chris Mewa sent me the International Rescue or the Thunderbirds Rescue Pack, which featured all of these incredible die-cast vehicles, which you can't really review this playset if you don't have the vehicles to integrate with them. But I really remember in the early 90s when Thunderbirds had this incredible renaissance where it was re-released on television, and a lot of the parents of that era were people who had grown up with it. My dad grew up watching Thunderbirds as well back in the 60s. So there was a lot of parents out there who were kind of showing this to their kids, and there's something about the show that is just timeless. It's an incredibly well-made TV show, obviously marionette puppets. I do notice a lot of comments on my video of people saying that the puppets are creepy. Like, I never found them creepy when I was younger. This was like way better than cartoons, even, because of the production value that would kind of go into this kind of thing. And there's something timeless about Thunderbirds that, you know, you could bring it out again today, and I think young children today would just be captivated by it. So
yeah, who would have thought that a puppet show from the 60s would still live up to today's standards? It's just amazing how they did it, and especially I'm a big fan of practical effects and pyrotechnics. Well, look at Thunderbirds. It's all practical effects. Look at the huge sets they built to make this show. It's just simply amazing, and it's still, for today's standard, it's pure sci-fi. Look at the way they designed the ships, not only the Thunderbirds, but every other vehicle in that show. The only thing that makes it a bit dated is, if you look at a console inside of one of the ships or the vehicles, it's all analog buttons and big blinking lights. But for the rest, it still lives up to today's standards of science fiction.
Yeah. And you've actually done a lot of sort of not research. You've done a lot of work in preparation for this live stream, and you brought together a bit of a slide pack. Jody, would you like to share some of those images?
Yeah, well, we'll go through them through a couple of sections once we get to there. So, but speaking of the sets, if you can pop open the slideshow, Tony.
Yep. Oops, sorry. Go on, Schaefer. Me and Schaefer are doing it at the same time.
So I actually found some pictures of what I was talking about. So these are actually the sets used in the 60s. Look how freaking big they are. It's just gorgeous the way they did. Using actual water. Like I said, it's a lot of practical effects, pyrotechnics. Look how big it's scaled up. These must have been enormous studios to actually house all the vehicles, house all the puppets. Look at this runway. Look how many people could actually fit on that table. It's just amazing how much detail and work was put into there. And like I said, there was a reboot in 2015, Thunderbirds Go, and this is actually a picture of Adam Savage on site. And they're still going on with the practical effects and the huge set. It's just simply amazing how it works.
Yep. We've got a super chat here from Bjorn. Which of the vehicles would you like to pilot or drive? How about you go first, Chris?
For me, that would be Thunderbird 2.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. You can carry those 5, I believe, crates with the vehicles in it. I think there were 6. Okay, I'm just new to this. 6, and I just love the vehicle, the shape of it. It's like you say, it's timeless, but that goes for the whole series. There's this whiff of the 60s over the series, and that really attracts me to it. And then again, it's timeless, the vehicles, and Thunderbird 2 for me. It's
a very a fan favorite vehicle, Thunderbird 2. So
it is.
What about
you,
Jody?
Yeah, same thing, and I just love the Thunderbird 2. If you look actually at the design, it wouldn't be really flight worthy. It's kind of like a whale with wings and rocket thrusters built into it. But yeah, it's such an amazing vehicle, and especially the way they designed it with all the different pods. Like I said, there were 6 different pods, all specialized with their own functions and their own interiors and own vehicles. It's just so much fun. How about you, Tony? Well, what was your favorite vehicle?
Oh, well, look, when I was a kid, it was Thunderbird 2. It was, it's like the stock standard answer. It's like back in the 80s saying to a kid, who's your favorite character in Star Wars, they're either going to say Han Solo or Luke Skywalker. You know, they're not going to turn around and say, the Ugnaught. You know, but actually today, if I was given the opportunity to pilot or drive any of the vehicles, it would actually be this.
Cool.
FAB1, Lady Penelope's pink 6-wheeled Rolls Royce. Because I don't know, I think I would look pretty good behind the wheel of a pink Rolls Royce. And there we have Thunderbird 5. So the classic intro to the TV show was the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown, which I actually put at the start of my video. Just the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the video started. And I got slapped with a copyright claim, so I had to take it off.
Likewise,
and that's because there are 5 main Thunderbird vehicles. Thunderbird 1, Thunderbird 2, Thunderbird 3, Thunderbird 4, and then Thunderbird 5 was like a satellite space station.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. You have to kind of
fit this, Jody.
So I don't believe Matchbox did. There were some toys later by third parties, mainly in Chinese. I've never found this made by Matchbox or Dinky. In the early years, and I've got some more slides on toys if we want to go deeper into the toys. Popey made Thunderbird 5 in like the 70s. That looked nothing like this one. I've only found post 90s 2000s models that actually properly represent the Thunderbird 5.
Yeah, nice.
But did you know there's actually 6 Thunderbirds?
Is there?
Yeah, they made it's a separate movie or episode called Thunderbird 6. Where Jeff, the father of the 5 children, actually asked Brains to design a Thunderbird 6. And he starts like making these really complicated designs. And in the end, they just go for a biplane.
Really?
Nice. I think we have another super chat here. Zigma Experiment, thank you very much. Said, any of you seen the Thunderbirds I Go reboot? It's really fun. Total love letter to the original series. Which reboot is that? Is that the 2000s reboot?
Yeah, that's a 2015 reboot. And like
CGI?
I said, no, it's a lot of practical effects. It's real sets, but the characters are CGI. I believe in some shots the vehicles may be CGI, but they still use practical sets and real sets.
I'll just sort of put it out there now. I have not watched anything outside of the original series. I haven't. Well, obviously there was a film with who was in that? Bill Paxton, was it? I haven't seen that film. I haven't seen any of the reboots. My default is just to go back to the Jerry Anderson original. So I can't comment on any of the reboots. So what else have you got for us to look at, Jody?
So yeah, like Chris said, the pods. So yeah, one of the biggest design features of Thunderbird 2 was actually carrying one of 6 pods into action, whatever was needed. And each pod had kind of like its own designation, although they started mixing them up a bit. But you also have to really show love for the pod vehicles, the amazing design of the pod vehicles. They just did an amazing job. So let me actually switch my other screen. So yeah, you see so pod 1 was either carrying the fire truck with a mobile control, the jet air transporter, which is a really funny vehicle. So the only goal on there has like these huge fan blades, and Basically, what it does is bursts up a hot stream of air for somebody to float on top of it. It's kind of like in one of the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you had Part 2. Well, Part 2 was dedicated to the electromagnetic pod grabs. So if ever Thunderbird 2 needed to do some heavy lifting, they was took out Part number 2. Part 3 also multifunctional and actually has one of my favorite vehicles of them all, and that's the mole, the drilling vehicle.
Yeah,
but you also see the first time you see this in the first episode actually, with the elevator cars, when they have to rescue the airplane that had a bomb into the landing gear and couldn't land. They actually had to grab 3 of the elevator cars. And
yeah, I remember that episode. But also that the mole there, that's one of my favorites as well, Jody. And I can't remember if it was Matchbox in the 90s or if it was or Vivid in the early 2000s. But they made there was a toy made of that mole, and I remember having that for a period of time. I don't know why I had it. I'm sure that was the early 2000s when Vivid kind of came out, and they had their own version of Tracy Island. Plus, there was a number of, they were doing like 8-inch tall figures as well. I was actually collecting a little bit of Thunderbirds then. God knows where it went or what happened to it. That's 21 years ago.
I think Matchbox also made one, and before that, even in the 70s, Popey made one. Although it never had the yellow color, it was always orange for some reason when you got a Popey one.
Oh, okay. We've got a super chat here from Tree Theodore. Thank you very much, Tree. He says, congrats, Tony, on the reception of your Thunderbirds video. The unique title, subject, narrative, camera techniques, and color kept me engaged. Thanks, gentlemen. I appreciate that, Tree. That was a really fun video to research, because when I sort of sat down to start doing the script, I started doing a bit of research, and I was like, I was getting ready to film kind of all of the audio part of it, and then I started to realize that parts of my research were not matching up. People were talking about the shortage of this toy in Christmas. Was it 91, 92, 91?
92.
And they were, and there was other websites, and they were directing me to newspaper articles and stuff that were online. And I was reading those, and the articles were from the 2000s. And I actually had to stop and go, I'm not going to record this script yet, because I think there's something wrong here, because my research was basically leading me to the fact that this had only happened once, and I was using evidence from 2000 to prove what was happening in 91. And the more I dug into it, I was like, oh, wow, this happened twice.
Yep.
That's truly amazing that, a TV show from the 1960s has a revival in the early 90s and then in the early 2000s. And both times this becomes, the hot Christmas toy that no one can get. So
yeah, so the one you're talking about might actually be it's not the Matchbox one in 2000, but the Carlton Toys one.
Yeah, that's right, the Soundtech one in 2000. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it did happen twice. Yeah. So they screwed up twice with that playset.
So here we've got the infamous Thunderbird 4.
I would see Scuba Pete pilot that.
Yep.
Absolutely. Or would he? No, perhaps if I was piloting it, or the three of us could hang out in Thunderbird 4, and we'll get Scuba to come down and clean the windscreen for us.
Even better.
This reminds me a little bit of from the Kenner Superpowers line. What was that stupid vehicle that on the box that had Robin piloting it? The Space Probe or something? Looks a little bit like that.
Not my line. Thunderbird 4. It's a lovely vehicle. Mostly dropped from Thunderbird 2 on part number 4. Although there's one episode where actually Thunderbird 2 got heavily damaged, and Thunderbird 4 can be launched from the island itself. And in your playset, there's actually a cavern in the playset where you actually have some room for Thunderbird 4 to launch.
Yep.
I just made the connection between Thunderbird 4 and the Beatles. It's a yellow submarine. For all your Beatle fans out there.
We all live in the yellow submarine. Yellow submarine.
The amount of people that have commented on my video asking, what does FAB stand for? Well, this was the 1960s when everything was fab. I don't know as FAB actually stood for anything. It was just, it's fab. We're good to go.
Yeah.
There's it actually means acknowledged, and there's many discussions on there. There's YouTube videos on there. There's websites on the topic. The real meaning behind it is it means acknowledged, and it doesn't stand for anything.
Yeah. Yep. It was, as I said, the 1960s when everything was fab. So
everything was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. Scuba Pete is go. Thunderbird 5. So we've got the mole and the recovery vehicle.
Yep. So Pod 5 actually is unique because it has the laboratory built into it. So anytime the brains was needed on site, they would take Pod 5. And Pod 5, often had the mole and the recovery vehicle in it. Again, the vehicles change, intermix between pods for whatever needed. But Pod 5 is the only one with a laboratory.
So even here in the chat, we've got some. So Plockman040 says FAB means fully acknowledged and briefed. Brendan Haley says fully acknowledged broadcast. So even there, 2 comments, and they're similar but not quite the same. It was a radio transmission acknowledgement, but Jerry Anderson himself admits that it stood for nothing.
Nailed it, Keith. Nailed it.
Exactly.
And then we have the last pod, Pod 6. Again, a multifunctional pod. Carries often my least favorite vehicles, the small vehicles like the neutralizer and the laser cutter.
Yep.
But the Firefly is a pretty cool vehicle, though. Again, the pod vehicles are just as amazing as the big Thunderbirds.
Yep.
Wow.
What we got next, Jody?
So, speaking of toys. So, Dinky was actually the first one to start with the Thunderbird toys. It was the first one. There were 3 companies that got a license: Matchbox, Dinky, and Popey Bandai. Yep. Dinky started it all off in 1966 with Fab 1. Made a total of 5 different copies of it, ranging from 66 to 76, all with small little design tweaks. Rear firing missiles, front firing missiles, all kind of different packages. They're all about the same size, though.
So what would an original 1966 FAB1 in box, what would that be worth today?
Dinky toys are actually pretty expensive nowadays. I kind of looked at it, and you're talking about 100 euros, $100 plus and upwards. And that's loose. So the Dinky toys are the rarest of them all, as far as I can find.
Yes, yep.
They also made the Thunderbird 2. The most ones you find out on like eBay are the 67 and beyond, and for some reason they made them blue instead of green. They only made 1 green copy. And these are also really. Sorry?
I wonder why they did that.
Yeah, good question. Very good question. At least it
maybe
comes...
that's the future video, Jody. A little bit like retro blasting. Don't eat the yellow lightsaber. This is one of those.
Yep, don't get the blue Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't throw this behind you because it's all die-cast, so we will probably leave a hole in your wall if you do that.
Yeah.
And definitely the toy won't survive. So yeah, they crossed this on to 75 again, blue, and they were even starting to look into making a yellow and black one for some reason. No idea why.
Tiger Force, maybe.
Tiger Force. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
But what's
Tiger Force?
Yeah, what's unique about the dinky ones is that actually the box becomes a stand. That's really, really nicely designed. Some with a backdrop, some without a backdrop, but they're actually really, really nice boxes. Except the last one from 75. It's just a clear box.
That was sort of quite a popular thing to do back in those days with die-cast vehicles. So Corgi was doing something similar.
Yep.
With they obviously Corgi had the license to do all the Batmobile, the Batman stuff from the 60s TV show. So, well, Kieran Ball is saying a dinky FAB1 is around 200 to 300 pounds. Wow. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me though. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever from the 1960s.
Yeah, and Keith said something slightly above that, about that the blue is actually the same blue used on the UFO interceptor vehicle. I think he also had that license, yeah.
Yeah.
It might be. And then we get to Japan, Popey Bandai in the 70s. Here you see that Popey really is known for its design qualities, rather than being completely accurate, because these have a lot of play features, launching missiles. But color-wise, yeah, really, really weird choices. A red, white, and blue Thunderbird 1. Again, bluish, greenish Thunderbird 4. Thunderbird 2, sorry. Lots of added decals, which we've never seen in the show. 79, they've got rid of most decals, but still has some decals. Only in 84 they got rid of all the decals. Then look at Thunderbird 3. Orange, gray. Next, silver, white, blue. Thunderbird 4, orange. Thunderbird 5. So yeah, it's and especially the Thunderbird 5, that was really, really weird design they made. Again, mostly aimed at play value, action features. Interesting line though. I haven't come across any of these on eBay. Haven't seen any of these. But then again, Popey Bandai is hard to find on eBay for almost all lines. Look at the Inspector Gadget one. Try to find the Inspector Gadget Popey Bandai lines.
Yep.
It's crazy.
So Jody, I just moved your what do you call it, camera or picture? I've just moved you to the top because I've just decided that you can take over and host this show. I'm sitting here, I think much like Chris, just getting an education today. Man, the preparation you've put into this live stream is incredible, and if that doesn't encourage people in the audience to go over and check out your channel, and particularly your most recent video, I don't know what else we could do, man. But I appreciate this. I'm very, very familiar with a lot of the dinky stuff. This Popey Bandai, this is all new to me. So please continue, my friend.
Yeah, they even made them all. Again, weird color selection, orange and blue. But yeah, I kind of love to look up these details when doing these kind of streams. We did the same thing, me and Chris, with Mask. We did a 2-part live stream, one on his channel, one on my live stream, my channel. Those were kind of really, really fun to do as well.
And they were for for a couple of guys that was your first live stream together, wasn't it?
No, the first one was the Iconicon after show.
Oh yeah.
So we did the Iconicon after show.
Ones, though, again, like if I was to give anyone tips about live stream on YouTube, it's that you need to come prepared, have an idea, have a very loose structure, but have an idea of what you're going to talk about. Otherwise, you end up sort of, you can get 10 minutes in and have three different, really knowledgeable guys on the screen, and no one knows where we're going and what we're talking about. But your two live streams about Mask were absolutely top shelf, very professional streams. So congrats to both of you.
Well, I took a big influence on the format from Retroblasting Dragon Con panels. Look how well Melinda prepares for those. The PowerPoint deck she puts together. Big influence on my format.
Nice.
And we finally get to 1992. The toys that I have, the toys that Tony has.
Yep.
Retroblasting has these as well, although Retroblasting is still missing the Fab 1, I believe. Yeah, because I gifted him Thunderbird 1, 2, 3. 2, of course, comes with 4. They first came loose. Then later on in 1992 for BBC commemorative, they finally boxed them up as a set. And they did again, the Thunderbirds Rescue Pack. And this is actually the one Chris was so kind to send over to you, Tony.
Yep. Thank you, Chris.
So yeah, it's but what else do we have? They also made some action figures. Really funny scale, 3 2/3 of an inch. So they almost scales with our 3 3/4, but not exactly.
Yep.
I believe these are all 5 POA.
I believe so. I had some of these. I picked up as part of my collection, but carded. I never took them off the card. They were quite easy to get a hold of. I'm probably talking the early 2000s here, when Thunderbirds was coming out again through Vivid and Carlton. The Matchbox stuff was still kind of quite plentiful. Not so much the diecast stuff, because I think that was what was popular, but maybe because of the unusual scale. Did Matchbox do the larger figures, or was that in the 2000s with Vivid?
You are correct, sir. 10-inch.
Yeah.
But only these 3 apparently, or at least as far as I can find. I can only find images of these 3.
I mean, they certainly didn't do other characters like Brains or the Hood. That was all in the early 2000s. Like I've got this box Brains figure here. I don't even remember where this came from. I probably just saw it cheap at a toy show and went, I'll grab that.
We have a super chat, Tony. We have a super chat from Grindhead Jim.
Thanks, buddy. From Grindhead Jim, thank you very much. He said, not a mark for Thunderbirds in any way, shape, or form, but I have a lot of love for everyone on the stream right now. Thank you for your friendship, support, and amazing content. Beers are on me. Cheers. Thank you very much, Grindhead Jim. Very much appreciated. I've actually wanted to ask Chris if he is drinking beer, because that cup he's got looks magnificent.
No, there's no beer in here.
Look at that.
This is from Pirates of the Caribbean. There's a little pirate on top, cursed.
Very nice.
This was a gift I got from Disneyland in France when during Halloween, me and some mates were dressed up as our pirate crew, roaming around the Disney park. They thought it was so much cool, so they gifted us with these drinking cups, beakers.
It's
Chris makes
my Star Wars mug.
Chris makes a heck of a Jack Sparrow. He really is. He really does awesome costumes.
I try, matey. I try.
Now, what I'm confused about this specific line, I don't know if it's Matchbox or if it's a third-party vendor. There are apparently two different lines about these 10-inch figures. Because as you see in this picture, all of them have holsters. Apparently, one series didn't come with guns, and one series did come with guns. And I don't know which is which, unfortunately.
I remember having some of these, and they had guns. Yeah. So this really reminds me. So the Matchbox era of Thunderbirds really reminds me a lot of 18 toys, because they put the characters out in so many different scales that it got quite confusing. Then you've like the helicopter that Michael French sent me. You've then got all the Galoob vehicles for the 3 3/4, and then over here you've got Ertl also making vehicles for that scale, but they were die cast, and it was very confusing, all of the different scales. But I feel, from a collector's kind of standpoint, I suppose in the early 2000s, I was picking up a lot of this stuff at toy shows because it was so readily available. But it was these figures and the 3 2/3 of an inch figures that were all available, and they were all available packaged. And I'm making an assumption here. I am not trying to mask my opinion as fact. I am just giving my opinion. Is that I believe it was the die-cast vehicles and the Tracy Island playset that were most popular with children, which is why 10 years after Matchbox had the license, I was still able to pick up all of these carded figures and these box figures here for peanuts, really. They just didn't hold any kind of collectible value.
Yeah, I saw on Facebook a while ago, I saw, I believe, the complete set of 5 Thunderbirds for about €100. They didn't have the guns though, but for the rest they were all complete, in box, everything. €100 for 5 figures.
Yeah, nice.
For some reason, these don't pick up really value. Well, they might do after this live stream though.
Maybe.
And then we get indeed to the island playsets. It looks very familiar.
They've got Thunderbird 1 and Thunderbird 3 mixed up in their positions.
They did. What I've also noticed is, while researching this, that apparently the Thunderbird 1 and Thunderbird 3 are not in scale, because Thunderbird 3 is a lot bigger than Thunderbird 1, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an amazing play set. A lot of play features. The palm trees that fall down, accurate to the show. The pool that opens, accurate to the show. A little voice box behind the back. It has what, 5 voice clips? 4 voice clips, Tony?
4.
4 voice clips. Yep.
Yep.
Really cool.
It's I was going to play them here, but I took the batteries out, because that's a very good tip for any toy collector. Any toys that require batteries, keep the batteries out of them so it doesn't leak out all the acid. But yeah, I think it's got Thunderbirds are go, and then the other 3 sounds are to launch Thunderbird 1, 2, and 3. So.
Yeah, I just love this playset. This is also, I think it's really well designed. It's, I believe it's a vacuum formed shell, but a lot of hard plastic components like the buildings, the runway, the palm trees. Really well designed in my eyes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking toy.
Yep, Carlton Toys. I got the license in 2000 and tried to build something similar.
So this one here, this had about, so this was this the Soundtech one, I think?
Yep.
Where each of the vehicles actually had push buttons on them and they could make sounds. The Tracy Island playset went from having 4 different sounds to, I think there was about 8 or 9 buttons on that one. Interesting.
Yeah, I believe so.
Piece, yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely trying to import more like of 2000s technology into the vehicles. Like you said, is all the vehicles had sound effects, all of them.
Yep.
And last but not least, the Vivid Imaginations 2002 playset. Really weird playset. It does form an island, and then you fold it out and fold it out and fold it out and fold it out, and then you basically got the lab and the launch pad. I haven't seen any other pictures of this properly. It's called Power Tech. So yeah, I'm guessing there's also a lot of sound features on there.
It's almost a transformer, isn't it, Jody?
Yeah, it is. But I think this is a lot smaller scale, or at least the figures, the vehicles are a lot smaller scale than the other ones.
I'm just going to share an image here, if I can. Yep. So this is kind of totally off topic here, but well, it's Jerry Anderson. It's not Thunderbirds, but I'm going to share my share screen. So this figure here, this is a Action Man sized, made by a company called Pedigree, which also made Tommy Gun. This is a holy grail toy for me. A box 1960s Captain Scarlet. He had like a clear plastic visor on his hat, a small, in fact, this one here doesn't even have it. He's supposed to have a microphone that came down, but if you can get this mint complete with the box and the microphone and everything, you'd be looking at $2,000 to $3,000 for this thing.
Ooh.
I'm not prepared to pay that, but it's still a holy grail toy for me. So,
was Captain Scarlet also Super Marionettes, or was it live action?
Yes. No, Super Marionettes. Yep.
Yeah, I know they also had some amazing vehicles. Like I said, I haven't seen the show. I've tried shipping over some of these small Jerry Anderson vehicles over to our buddy in at Retro Blasting to try to coerce him to make some Jerry Anderson videos. But you beat him. You win, Tony.
And I don't know what took me so long. So after the popularity of this video, I've gone out looking for some Captain Scarlet stuff. I'm like, I need to do a video now about Captain Scarlet. Unfortunately, there's you can get, I think, was it Matchbox as well? We're doing those same small scale carded figures. There's a few small vehicles, but there's nothing big like a play set. And I'm still trying to kind of get it in my head, like how I do a Captain Scarlet kind of video. Maybe I'll just, watch the whole series and do a review of the series or something.
What you could do is you could also do something that Blue Peter did back then, because especially in the shortage of the Matchbox playset, Blue Peter actually showed you how to build your own playset out of cardboard. Maybe an idea, Tony? DIY, arts and crafts?
I don't have time for that. I used to do a bit of customizing and that with Action Man, but whenever I look at a project like that today, I'm like, I could make 1 or 2 videos in the time it would take me to customize this toy or do that. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on these days. So, well, we've been going for about 50 minutes. Should we get to some unboxings, or is there anything else you wanted to discuss, Jody?
No, sounds good.
Okay, all right. Well, I will.
Now, I do have to say one thing. While I was researching this, because especially if you look into the first episodes of the Thunderbirds, you always have this bad guy trying to sneak into the vehicles to make pictures to steal the technology.
Yep.
All he has to do is go on to amazon.co.uk, because there's actually a really, really nice book that actually has all of these graphics behind me. And all of the cutaways, really, really nice book. It's on my wish list to get from Amazon. Really need to get that one, but beautiful book. So yeah, all the guy had to do is go onto Amazon.
In 1965, go on Amazon. Come on, Joe. Now, what I noticed from watching Thunderbirds as a newbie is how much it reminds me of the Mask cartoon series. You got this mask transport vehicle. That reminds me a lot of Thunderbird 2. The Tracy Island set reminds me in some ways of Boulder Hill. You know, they're both secret bases that unknown to the enemy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
Yeah, but unlike Mask, but more like Bionic 6, the guys just walk around with their own faces without any mask and never get recognized.
It is, and it's so ahead of their time. That's one other thing I noticed. There's this episode where that the Reds, what's the name of that plane again? The Red Shadow, or no, not Red Shadow.
Yep,
that's
Red
Action
Shadow.
Force. One of those experimental planes crashes into that radar tower, and then Thunderbirds have to come to the rescue, and they got camera drones. How is that ahead of their time for 1965? You know, Star Trek, the original series, was way ahead with predicting what we will use in the future. But damn, Thunderbirds know their stuff too. Drones in 65.
Yeah, but I think I've seen more things in the Thunderbirds series where you have to think was this an inspiration to this show? Was this an inspiration to this show? And I'm talking all about 80s shows, because there's a lot of things they were way ahead of back in the 60s.
Yeah. So I've got 3 parcels here, all from the same person. These are from Evander. So maybe it was cheaper on postage for him to send these separately. But Evander, long-time supporter of the channel. We've got, wow. So we've got some vintage G.I. Joe comics. It's
nice.
Yeah, very nice. So Marvel G.I. Joe there. Dear Tony, I work in rural Aberdeenshire, and on my days off, I head into Aberdeen, where the comic shop Asylum has a great stock of G.I. Joe comics. The stock of old Punisher comics is less good, but here is a favourite of mine. Have you ever read Tintin Flight 714 to Sydney? I have not, Evander. It is great, except for the aliens and their spaceship. A bit like Indy and the 4th movie. Yeah, fair enough. So, we've got another one. So this is a Marvel G.I. Joe series that it's Ninja Force. So we got Snake Eyes versus Scarlet there.
All right. Cool.
And so what have we got? Issues 136, 137, 138. And the Punisher. They killed the X-Men. Nice Punisher comic there. That's issue 33. I would have had this when I was a kid, because I jumped into Punisher about issue, I say a kid, as a teenager, I jumped into Punisher around issue 24, I think, is when I first picked up and read a Punisher comic, and then it became quite an obsession of mine during my teenage years. So this is also from Evander.
Evander from Paris.
Today, makes it
Sorry?
change. Nothing from you today. What is this? Wartime Braemar? Evander normally puts notes in. Yeah, here we go. Dear Tony, the B&M store in Aberdeen was just about giving this. Oh, I won't say what the figure is. Excuse me. The B&M store was just about giving this figure away, while a comic store in Aberdeen called Asylum has a lot of very last G.I. Joe comics from Marvel. So here are a few, with many more to come. Enjoy, Evander. Well, they all arrived at the same time, Evander. So we've got, this I like. Punisher War Journal, and that's a beautiful cover there.
Nice.
Very nice. I'm actually going to do a Punisher video when my other Marvel Legend turns up. I've already got a Marvel Legend Punisher. I'm getting the one with the motorbike. We got a vintage DC Superman comic here.
Cool. Always cool.
And G.I. Joe issue 109, which has got Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes on the front. And the Punisher on the back. Very nice.
Speaking of the Punisher, Tony, have you seen that show on Netflix? And is it any good? Or if you haven't, anybody in the crowds, have you seen it? Is it worth watching?
I seem to be in the real minority that didn't like it. So the Punisher character first appeared in Daredevil season 2, I think it was, on Netflix. So he was a character in that. Not exactly a villain, but an antagonist to Daredevil. Everyone else loves it. They think John Bernthal was brilliant. I have never seen a live action Punisher that is like the comics to me. I'm still waiting for, I'm still waiting for the Punisher to get the like the Superman Christopher Reeve treatment and get perfect casting. And oh wow, this is The Walking Dead, a real apocalypse hero. It's done up to look like a G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Never even seen these before.
I didn't even know The Walking Dead had a toy line.
Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
And another parcel from Evander.
Yeah, he for some reason always sends parcels in multitude, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I think also Grindhead Jim, Punisher Warzone is up there as probably my favorite interpretation. It's the most accurate to the comic. I still think a better Punisher film can be made, if that makes sense. That to me is the best live action Punisher so far is Punisher Warzone. I've got that on DVD. Oh, we've got some Disney Star Wars figures. Jedi Luke.
That sounded heavy.
When
you put it down, it sounded heavy.
Not really. Just the way it fell back, I think. I've got a Darth Vader there. And a DC Batman. Thanks, Evander. That's going to sort of go well with those retro Marvel figures that people have been sending across. Same sort of scale. Dear Tony, here's a selection of contemporary / modern toys. I would like to hear your thoughts on these toys. I like Spin Master DC Comics characters, while Hasbro made these Star Wars figures that are beautifully sculpted, except for the face of Luke. Well, they've never been able to get Luke's face right. In the same series, they did figures for the film Solo. Take care and keep up the good work. All the best, Evander. Thank you, Evander. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he didn't send all this stuff at the same time, but it seems like here in Australia they wait until there's a bit of a backlog and then they just send it all in one go. But literally, I picked all 3 of those up from the post office yesterday. So
Evander, I don't know how he does it, but he always finds these amazing comics and books. I don't know how he does it.
Like he's the one. He sent me a number of Mask comics, which I didn't even know existed. And hey, we're all fans of Mask on this screen, aren't we? Now, this one here is from Alex Balls. I don't remember speaking to an Alex Ball, so I don't know how he got the address, or it may have just slipped my mind, or maybe he's contacted me under a under a YouTube name or something. Obviously, a lot of people don't have their real names up. So, but the fact that it came to the PO box and the home address means that it's for Analog Toys. Oh, and it says Analog Toys on there. So, dear Mr. Roberts, thank you for your Action Force videos on Analog Toys YouTube channel. Growing up in the UK in the 1980s, Palitoy's Action Force and the Battle Action Force comics were both a huge part of my childhood and those of my brothers too. In adulthood, I spent many years as a content contributor on the Action Force fan site, bloodforthebaron.com, where my username is Space Commander. Nowadays, I'm not as active online as I used to be, and it's only thanks to videos such as yours that I have discovered Bobby Valor's new Action Force, so thank you. This video is proudly brought to you by Valorverse. Many years ago, I and some of the other Blood for the Baron chaps looked into securing the rights to Action Force for the website. If we'd been successful, spoiler alert, we were unsuccessful, my job would have been to write the single-page comic strips we intended to give away free with every new action figure we would make. However, I can't draw. I was just meant to get some ideas down on paper and let a real artist draw them later. Also, the writing was very tricky because I only had a single side of A4 each time, which meant that the dialogue had to be very truncated. Even so, they were incredibly fun to work on. I included a few in-jokes for the guys on the website. Some of the new characters were named after some of us, and I also included a brief backstory for the character named Bombardier. For years, we all assumed this unproduced vintage figure must have been a G.I. Joe, yet a trip by one of us to the UK State Museum, which belongs to the Queen, revealed that he was a Palitoy creation after all. I referenced that too. Who knew that the Queen collected rare Action Force toys? There was even a throwaway line about the original 80s Action Force being brought out by an American G.I. Joe unit. Additionally, I wanted to make my beloved Space Force more believable, so I decided to treat them more like a Super Halo team jumping from the stratosphere. The UK's Quintet Q1 Space Balloon was big in the news at the time, and we were also beginning to hear about a crazy Austrian skydiver named Felix Baumgartner. I'm going to butcher that name, eh? Anyway, as they were so much fun to make, I'd like to give you a copy of those very, very rough storyboards. I really hope that, despite their limitations, you enjoy them. If you liked, you could mention them next time you and Bobby Valor are talking. He might get a kick out of them. Best wishes for the future and full force. Alex Balls, the Space Commander. Very nice. So we've got some sort of like layouts here for single page comics. Brian Dillingham, thank you for the super chat. Did you hit send before you had a question, or is this just towards the Valorverse habit?
That's as Michael called a Dillinghamism. He just sends empty super chats.
Well, when he sends them to me, it's always for the Black Series / Valorverse habit, so I already know what he's saying. So thanks, Brian. This is very cool. I'm going to have a read of these. So they did a lot of this. Greg Hughes did a lot of this kind of single page comic style stuff that would come out with Action Man and with various toys and a lot of the SAS sets had like these one page comics that kind of told you a little bit of a story about the the outfit in that particular pack. Jim Largo, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, sorry I'm late. Nice to see you, gents. Nice to see you too, Jim. Okay, I'm going to have to clear some room because the last one is massive. This is from Stephen Langer, who I believe this came from Germany. Stephen contacted me via email some time ago, so I'll just move these comics and things out of the way. So Stephen contacted me a while ago wanting the postal address, but he never said what was in there. And I was like, when I picked that up yesterday, I'm like, damn, that's a big box. That's a Jody size box, that is. So, does anyone want to try and? I think he said there was 2 different toys in there.
Well, Jody is a bit bigger than that box. Jody needs to lose some weight.
I'm talking about the boxes you send me, Jody. I wish I had put on my other analog toy shirt tonight. Now I know we're both wearing them.
Hey, it's a cruise shirt, man. It's a cruise shirt.
Yeah. This box here came from Germany. I think this has taken about 6 or 7 weeks to arrive. So
it's pretty long from Germany.
Yeah.
Hey?
I said that's pretty long from Germany.
Yeah, it is. It is. Normally, UK and stuff like that, and Europe stuff still gets here fairly quickly. So
yeah, 2 to 3 weeks, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Stephen is Sunny Frisch, who you recognise from the chat. Okay. And he's got an apology at the bottom here. English is not his native tongue, so it might explain any mistakes. Hi,
Kein
Tony.
Problem, Stephen. Kein Problem, Stephen. Kein Problem.
Oh, yeah.
I just said no problem in German.
Yeah. Hope you're doing well. I've been following your channel for several months now. I came to know about yours through Retro Blastings. Your videos often let me have those wonderful flashbacks to my very own childhood. Since back in the 80s, I owned some of those toys myself, from Star Wars, Master of the Universe, Mask, G.I. Joe, and Action Force, the German variants. Unfortunately, I did not hold on to them when I'd grown up. I also decided not to become a collector of vintage toys thereafter, since I'm all thumbs, thus incapable of repairing and restoring toys. It is therefore quite enjoyable to watch people like yourself, Toy Polloy, or Michael French preserving and presenting them. Moreover, it is more than pleasant to see someone from Western Australia being engaged in this extraordinary hobby, since I am in some ways connected to that state. Interesting. I hereby send you a little token of appreciation, which you hopefully might not only find somewhat interesting, but kind of amusing as well. This action figure is no vintage toy, yet in some way it tries to appear as such. This is further being encouraged by the box art design, featuring old-fashioned lettering and a coloration mocking wear off its edges. Steve, there aren't any mistakes in your writing here. This is no spelling mistakes. The grammar's good. It's pretty good for English. There's quite a bit more of this letter to read here. I think I'm gonna have a look at what's in this box. Chris, you're a drummer. Do we get a drum roll?
I'm not a drummer. I'm a bass player.
So I meant musician, but just
yeah.
Sorry. A bass player, the same as Keith Knight.
Yeah.
This is. Don't know what this is.
Some assembly required, apparently.
It looks that way, yes.
You put them together. Use adult superstition.
Yeah. I've noticed on when Sal does unboxings and when Dean does unboxings, they have these really cool little like combat flick out knives, and I'm just using a box cutter. I was like, I'm gonna have to go and buy a cool little, sort of military style knife to use.
A Rambo knife, yeah.
Maybe. So we've got some parts and pieces here. I think I know what this is. I think this is G.I. Joe.
I have an idea what's in there too, yeah.
Yeah, this is G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
This is, from the looks of it, Outpost Defender,
Yeah.
which is a really, really cool little playset, which I had at one point. as in one point in childhood, not one point in my collection. We've got the ammo crate. Sorry, not the ammo crate. The weapons crate with all 3 weapons.
Ooh, that's rare.
Very nice condition.
That's how you pack a toy.
Yeah.
Amazon,
Yeah.
watch and learn.
The machine gun mount, the antenna. So this must be the Sonny. This is a really, really cool little play set. Like for me, I had both this and Checkpoint Alpha when I was a child. And they were, even though they were small, these were 2 of my favorite play sets. You know, this is basically a machine gun emplacement. And I can even remember how to put this together, I think. So that goes there.
Tab A goes in slot B.
Yes, something like that. Can I remember how to put this together, or have I just made myself look like an idiot?
Do you want us to answer that, Tony?
No?
Do you want us to answer that, or what are you?
We'll let the chat be judgment on that.
I know this goes in here somewhere. Damn it.
Yeah.
Hey, we can always call in the Patreons for a Patreon after show to guide you through the installation.
I'll have to see what Grace is doing when she gets up. Why can I not remember how this goes? So the machine gun goes on there.
I wonder how many DMs you will get with links to the instructions.
Oh, people are going to be in the chat right now. Brian Dillingham says, besides that and the Checkpoint Alpha, which of those playsets do you have? I also have the Cobra Bunker, but I think that's about it. When I was a child, I had a lot of the smaller playsets. I really liked them. I had the Cobra rifle range. Yeah. Okay. No, there's a piece missing. That's why. There's a piece missing.
See, George has the instructions.
Oh. There's another bit. There we go. That's why I can't put it together. There's a piece missing. So we have, and it's Action Force.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not G.I. Joe. All right, that's better. Yeah. So you've got the fake wall goes on there. That one goes on there. Then it clips together. Now we're having some success. I love this playset.
Yeah, that looks good.
It goes there. That doesn't look correct.
Is one post longer than the others?
Hey?
Is one post longer than the others?
No, there's just this this angled one here, which I can't remember how it goes. That's it. At the back there. Wow. That is an awesome playset.
That brings back memories. Yeah.
And I think when I was a kid, this rear post here that is angled.
Yeah.
I remember I lost that part. That was the only part I didn't have for a long time. This is very cool. I want to say this is like 1986. This is kind of the wave of G.I. Joe when we were getting like Beachhead and Falcon and those kind of guys.
Yeah.
So, Sonny, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. Okay. Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Sonny, thank you very much for the super chat. Is this what you mean? This is the one toy left in the box? This... Holy... Man, this is a really, really nice looking figure. The Empire's posable protector, Elite Hans, Terrorbilly, the cold-blooded terrorist. So this is a link to PlayStation in some way. There's weathering on the box and everything.
On what line is that?
Hey?
On what line is that?
So this is from this. So this is linked to the
Wolfenstein,
the first-person shooter game. So this is saying this is PS4 here. America, 1961. Your assassination of Nazi General Death's Head was a short-lived victory. Despite the setback, the Nazis maintained their stranglehold on the world. You are B.J. Blazkowicz, a.k.a. Terrorbilly, member of the Resistance, scourge of the Nazi Empire, and humanity's last hope for liberty. You only have the guts, guns, and gumption to return stateside, kill every Nazi in sight, and spark the Second American Revolution.
Mm.
Wow. So we got... No, it's Billy, not Hans. Okay, it's Billy. This is terrible.
Is he in scale with Action Man?
Yes, yeah. This is a 1/6 scale figure. Very nicely done. This is a really top quality toy. I'm gonna have to do some research. So I know Sonny sent me an email. Well, I emailed him yesterday to let him know that his parcel had arrived. And when he sent a response, he sent a couple of YouTube links, and he was like, "This is some research for after you see what the toy is." So I'm going to go check out those YouTube links. Tony Fritch is saying unbox, is he? Unbox, all right. Get this guy out then. Wow. He comes with, so he's a video game character.
Oh.
Comes with a lot of accessories. Wow. Let's have a look at this.
Someone's complaining that we're not familiar with the Wolfenstein franchise. No, I played, the only one I played was the original game.
Yeah, so I used to play Wolfenstein on PC.
Yeah.
I'm not a gamer. And there's some really interesting looking weapons here.
Mm.
He's got like a tank commander style jacket.
Cool.
Nice.
An axe. Yeah, this is... Man, on the front of his shirt, look at the detail on that. He's got a Rangers symbol, like US Rangers, airborne.
Sonny says the leaflet is a mini poster.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Captain Schaefer.
Yes, thank you, Schaefer, in the background there. It's a mini...
Gnatch!
What does that mean?
It's kind of like a pow or bam.
Uh-huh.
Just a sound effect.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be doing the research. So I'm gonna be checking out the links that Stephen sent me. Doing a bit of research on this. So this is very, very cool. This reminds me of dragon models, which were very popular during the 2000s, doing a lot of World War II stuff. It's that kind of scale figure. Seems to have similar articulation, similar quality. This does not look like a cheap toy whatsoever. The clothing is top quality. The figure looks really good. So I need to educate myself now a little bit on Wolfenstein, I think.
I'm guessing that was like a deluxe package for the game. So yeah, in total it wouldn't be cheap because just the game would be $60. So what? This would have been $100 at least.
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe it was just a completely separate bit of merchandise, like you see sometimes in the gaming shops. That well, I'm familiar with those from a few years ago because I used to take we got a shop called EB Games near us. I would take my son there all the time to look at the collectibles. But in the last probably 18 months, he doesn't go to the game shop anymore because you just download everything now. So Sonny says at Analog Toys, the figure has no pivot joints below the elbow. The figure is to be posed with two weapons akimbo or in the box. Oh. It does have joints below the elbow.
No, he means he doesn't have an elbow joint.
It does.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. It's got a waist. The waist just rotates. It doesn't go back and forward.
Oh, below the biceps. Does he mean like wrist movement?
It's got wrist movement. Fully posable. It doesn't have a bicep swivel, but
oh, you mean gotcha.
Very, very cool. Well,
will he stand?
He will. I mean, I've got some figure stands. I've got a lot of kind of stuff like that for that scale. But Sonny, sincerely thank you, because this is going straight into the G.I. Joe display, and I'm going to put. I already know who I'm going to put in there. I'm going to put Beachhead, at least Beachhead, and maybe someone else is going to go in the Outpost Defender.
Well, at least he's better protected than if he needs to mount the front gun of the HQ.
yeah, exactly. No, Bobby L. Collins, it does not have ratcheted knees, but I also didn't wait a year and a half for this and pay $400 for it, so I think he gets a pass on ratcheted knees. Yeah, people here saying Beachhead is a good choice. Who would you put in the Outpost Defender, Chris?
I was thinking and looking. Part of me was thinking because of the gun roadblock, maybe, but I think Beachhead is a far better choice.
Yeah, I think. I think Lieutenant Falcon would look good in there, but I don't have that figure. I do have to acquire that figure at some stage, but. Yeah, because I'm one of those collectors as well who I couldn't take a play set from 1986 and put figures from 1984 in it. I'm one of those kind of collectors. It would have to be something from the correct era. Leatherneck, yes, George Aitken, good call. And I have a Leatherneck. Yeah, Leatherneck and Beachhead are going to go in there.
Cool.
Now, see, Jesse, this is the way, and there's nothing wrong if other people do it. But the way my brain works is that Footloose came out a year or two before. You know, you can put Footloose with Checkpoint Alpha. you can't put him with this because he came out in a different era. That's just the way I like to.
Yeah.
To
What year was Tunnel Rat? Was that 88 or?
No, that was the
87?
same year as this, I think. Very, very close to that era. But again, Tunnel Rat's not a figure I own either. So.
Sonny actually has a really good comment, and I was wondering about it because there's an antenna, but there's no radio. So he suggests in the figure with a radio.
That is an interesting comment. Yeah, an antenna with no radio. Yeah, you would have to be dial tone would be like the right guy for that particular era.
Well, they can both be in there. So one mount manning the gun and one manning the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have dial tone either. Now I'm starting to realise how many G.I. Joe figures I still need.
Same here. Did somebody just say bazooka?
Yeah, someone said bazooka, but my bazooka is currently he stands on the side of the Ore Striker.
Such a cool figure. I really like bazooka. He's awesome figure.
What you've got him right there, Chris. What?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think for the life. I watched your latest video yesterday. What was your latest video about?
My latest video, Mask, Firefly and Raven.
Right. And you did a size comparison.
Yeah.
You used bazooka.
I used bazooka. Yeah.
Bazooka. You'll notice when I talk about the difference between articulation between Star Wars, and I always put Luke Skywalker and bazooka. And there's a reason I picked bazooka, because the colors just pop.
Yeah.
So having
here.
him there, yeah.
I got him out, and I got this fellow out because the blue and the red go pretty good, and yeah.
John Baldry, hello, good sir. How are you doing? Tunnel Rat was 89 for International Heroes. Yeah, so it would have been a couple of years earlier for G.I. Joe. I mean, this would have been 89 for Action Force as well. But yeah, I think Beachhead and Leatherneck are the two guys you need to put in this. I think I've made my choice. So.
Yeah, don't put Wetsuit and Leatherneck in there. They argue all the time, you know.
So I thought this was called Coastal Defender. That's a different mini playset. This is Outpost Defender.
Yeah.
But I kind of always picture this on a coastline. So maybe I'll have Shipwreck sunbathing on the roof or something while everyone else is in the fight. Well, look, guys, we've been going close to an hour and a half. I'm going to wrap things up here. I need to go and see Gracie and get something to eat. I will be doing a Pala talk on this Saturday. I think it's 7 p.m. I need to double check the messages from Matt. It's like 7 or 7:30 on Saturday night with Matt Swafford from Reclaimers Vintage Toys. And also I've got a video out on Patreon, which will go on YouTube tomorrow, where I've kind of review that awesome custom SAS glider that Screaming Eamon Custom sent to me. So what about you guys? Have you guys got anything coming up on your channels at all?
Yes.
I got another toy hunt video from with my good buddy and a special reporter in the field, Scuba Pete, coming most likely next week. Yeah. Still got some mask things I want to do. Shabby Geek asked me to do a favorite Motu Origins top 5 video, so I'm gonna be doing something with that most of the time. But most of the time for me, in order to keep it fun for me, I just look around in my toy room, and if I'm in a mask mood that week or that month, you see a lot of mask content come out. If I'm in a G.I. Joe mood, and I'm starting to get into a G.I. Joe mood, going by that mini playset you just showed, I think there might be some G.I. Joe content coming anytime soon. So there's still a lot of stuff in here that I like to do videos about and play with it while I'm making the video, which keeps it fun for me. So
yeah. Am I the only one that gets really jealous of watching Scuba on his toy hunts? All this stuff he can see, and I'm just here like on eBay and in Facebook groups.
There is more.
Shipping.
There are more toy stores only in the state where Scuba lives than in the whole of the Netherlands where Jody and I live, I think.
Yeah, I'm waiting for corporate travel to open up again. I must find a way to hop over Scuba's place and go toy hunting.
Yeah. And what about you, Jody? What have you got coming up?
I got 2 short-term videos planned and 2 longer-term videos. The short-term is I just got a really, really amazing Transformers book from a friend of mine, and I got another Transformer book of myself. So I'm gonna try a book review, see if I can make that interesting. And my second Ghosts or Spectre from Ghostbusters from Bam Toyco came in.
Cool.
I'm gonna do another Bam Toyco Ghostbusters review. And then back to
you've just reminded me, Jody, the Boogeyman that you sent me from BAM Toys, that is going to be the Halloween special for this year for Analog Toys. I'm going to be reviewing that for Halloween. So
nice.
Yeah. And other things in the pipeline. After the Retro Blasting live stream the other day, I was kind of chatting to Michael, and we decided that, because I was talking about doing a video about the Valaverse Action Force comics, and we said, hey, let's just collaborate on one. But it won't be me collaborating. It will be Desert Rat collaborating with Retro Blasting on the Retro Blasting channel on a video about the Valaverse Action Force comics. As soon as I get this other Marvel Legend in the post, I'm going to be doing a Punisher video. I've wanted to do a Punisher video for some time since I'm such a fan of the character. And lots of other cool stuff coming up. Whenever I've ordered a jackhammer, whenever that damn jackhammer gets here, I will then start work on one of my bigger videos, which will be Toy History's episode on Mask. So
cool.
Nice.
That will be coming, I'm hoping, before Christmas. I've got plenty of time yet. Just waiting for. I don't want to do that video without the jackhammer, so I'm waiting for the jackhammer. I did use the Molotov chrome pen a couple of weeks ago, and on the Hurricane, I completely disassembled the vehicle so I could chrome up the parts on their own, because I'd never used a chrome pen before. So I completely disassembled the vehicle, and then found that it was so easy using it. I was like, why did I disassemble this thing? So when then I got the Rhino, and I just went around and just the chrome pen on the parts that needed chroming, and did all the rims and the exhaust, and looked incredible. So I've got to reassemble the Hurricane today. Yeah.
Just make sure you let them cure 2 to 3 weeks in preferably a dust-free environment.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. I've got them in a cabinet upstairs, so they don't get any dust on them or anything. And I just pulled the Hurricane down here yesterday to have a look, and looks like it's completely gone off. It's not getting any marks when I touch them or anything. So I may just go ahead and leave it another week. Actually, there's no urgency for me to reassemble it, so I'll go put that away. So,
Awesome.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun, and I know it is late where you are, but you guys you're getting used to it. It's really early here, and it's really late there. But no, just one last time, I really want to thank my friend Jody from Gen X Toys Geek for being here on the channel. Link to his channel is in the description of this video. Please go and check out his latest video about, the iconic kind of 80s TV vehicles. It's a really, really well done video. Lots of research. One of those videos where I learned a lot of stuff, and any video where I can learn anything is good. But when you come out of a video and you've learned 6, 7, 8, 9 things, it's well worth the effort. So, and the incredible Chris, I'm going to call him Chris Mewa today, but sometimes we call him Gandalf, sometimes we call him Jack Sparrow, sometimes we call him Star-Lord. But Chris Mewa from the Chasing 80s Toys YouTube channel, thank you very much for taking the time. Link to your channel is in the description below as well. And I will see most of you on the Pallet Talk on the weekend. So thanks everyone for being here, and we'll see you next time.